everyone. I'm Tomer from Hypernative, a Web3 security. With me, some of the leaders of the most impactful DeFi protocol in the space. And we're here today to speak about what is really matters to make DeFi accessible and usable for users. So let's kick it off with a quick round intro. Starting from Kenny.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Excited to be here in Dubai. Last year I was here, it was all raining. And when I landed yesterday, it was 100 degrees. So it's great to be here. My name is Kenny Lee. I'm a founder of SecondSwap. We're a decentralized exchange focused on liquidity abstraction for the locked token market. Every token has a life cycle. You start locked and then you become unlocked. So we want to move the quantum upstream for users.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sergey Kunz. I'm co-founder of 1inch, software engineer, software architect for around 20 years. I and Anton, my co-founder, we have built 1inch on the hackathon back in 2019. Over 2 sleepless nights, we came to the simple idea to aggregate liquidity on one blockchain, Ethereum. And nowadays, we aggregate the whole liquidity across 14 chains. And since today's also Solana.
Hello, I'm Elena. I'm CMO of Rubik. Rubik is an aggregator. We are best rate finder for swaps, both for consumers and the builders. We aggregate more than 100 chains and 360 DEXs, bridges, internet protocols. The number is so huge because we've been building for almost 5 years since 2020. And I'm happy to be here.
Hi, my name is GPMS. I'm business development at Beefy. We at Beefy are a GL optimizer and GL aggregator for all underlying DeFi farms.
Awesome. So now that we know each other, let's get into the real stuff. So without trust, there is no product, no adoption. I would like to hear from you. What lesson have you learned so far about building trust to product user experience and product strategy?
Yeah, maybe I'd like to share first is that a lot of people think that going through a computer, going through your phone with a better UI, a nicer color scheme, a little bit more professional spelling enables trust. But actually what happens is that when people actually want to put a large amount of consideration onto your platform, what they do is inevitably they call you, they text you. Hey, bro, is this real? Does this really work? Am I going to get my money back? So trust is inherently built person to person. So a lot of times you spend our time more on chain, it's actually getting behind something, being public, being visible, backing your product, being able to explain it in person. So I would say that a lot of maybe businesses don't really realize is that you really need to be with that person to explain it to walk them through. And once they're okay, once they're comfortable and they're seeing that it works, then you can handhold them and then walk away. And that's how most businesses are built. Yeah.
So my mindset is to not trust anyone. Even own parents. So, but verify. Yeah. So that's why maybe I'm kind of crypto blockchain maxi. So our approach is to prove always to prove. So if you launch a new protocol, we approve it with security audits. We say, okay, we launch on Solana, you can verify the code. Yeah? Almost no one is doing that right now on Solana somehow. I don't know why, because they have maybe they trust too much, maybe. Yeah. So we prove it. So we don't let people think that they can trust us. Trust never, because we have seen recent hacks. Safe wallet, right? The biggest hack in the crypto, and because they just had trust to a small team. Who don't even have ISO certification or other certification, what ensures at least that they have at least processes, so they maintain a high level of safety and security. From our point of view, we should not trust, but verify. Yeah.
I also wanted to chat a little bit about the hack. So remember the recent Bybit hack? And a lot of the money was laundered via DeFi. And I'm actually interested in your takes on this. Like, what do you think? Should DeFi really establish some AML procedures? Or we should be true to the core principles of DeFi and should never do that?
Can I add to this? So laundry in DeFi is I see it as a transformation of one asset to another asset, what you can track. Yeah, if you use, of course, Tornado Cash, you can still track because like not that many people deposit and withdraw. Yeah, so you can theoretically track. From my point of view, what was done is they misused Torchain, right, to transfer it to Bitcoin, but still it's verifiable. So we have a compliance team who was closely monitoring the whole activities, and we really blocked a lot of wallets who like was somehow in relation to this hack. So it's not like laundry, I would say. It's just transformation of stolen funds and just other assets.
Yeah,
I think it's okay to block those addresses who were involved.
Sure, we should work against malicious actors, hackers. I don't know. There are a lot of criminals as well. So even math bots who extract by doing sandwich attacks on transactions, we should block them because it's not okay. It's not legal. Yeah, what they do. Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, yeah, I think it's a work that we have to adapt and be responsible as an industry. It's not, and we are relatively new to this, so it's a situation that we have to like basically come up with a solution. Could be, as Sergey said, we can block addresses and just try to do the correct thing, but at the end. I think some measures, security measures specifically, has to be taken into account when these situations happen, because it's gonna keep happening. It's inevitable. As more as we wanted to say it's not, but we are no, it is. So yeah, we have to be vigilant for that. And talking about the question that he said, I think in this industry the trust is earned based on how much time have you been in the market without any issue. I think that's a valid point. That's the most valid point that the users see. Like if you launch in 2020 and you have I don't know 5 years without an issue, a lot of your community trust you. And that's why I think we all should have some at least basic security assessment when we are going to make a decision as a protocol.
I would like to add what helps as well is transparency. So we had some cases. I got like our dApp was attacked by a third-party library. Someone, North Koreans, I think, hacked a third very popular, very famous like image library, graphic library, to hack us. Yeah, to steal some. I think there were some bitcoins were stolen, and yeah, what we did, we published everything. We explained what happened and what developers, contributors can do to improve it, and what processes will be introduced. But transparency helps to say, okay, this is how it is. It happened. Yeah.
I would say maybe just to add the two hacks that you brought up, and the one on 1inch and the one on Bybit, there was a lot of transparency behind it. I think that was a market change from what it looked like 3-4 years ago, where people tend to cover it up a little bit. Like, let's not tell people we lost these $100 million, and until an audit finds out, or they find out we're actually insolvent. You know, with the FTX crisis, which actually made a lot of companies insolvent that no one really knew about. But now with the publication of how the vectors of intrusion, which you were both describing, really limits the ability for others to say, well, I can't use this method anymore because it's so widely published. Everyone knows about this image library attack that I can't use this anymore. So I got to find something a little deeper and deeper. And it's going to be tougher. It's going to be more difficult. So that's one great way the whole industry is sort of banding together to actually counterattack. But I also like to add a little bit to your point about freezing all the roads. Let's say when it was laundered or maybe exfiltrated through DeFi methods, there's a risk there. It could be akin to sort of blaming the getaway car for the bank robbery. One of those ways that you get away with using this vehicle is not the vehicle's fault. Maybe it's something else. So if you block every single thing, you risk stifling innovation. Back to what you said, this is what DeFi was meant for. It's meant to be decentralized. You were meant for the roads to be all clear so I can use them. If they're used for good purposes, bad purposes, are we to judge? Like, who's gonna judge here? Who's gonna say this is good or bad DeFi? We can't really do that anymore. So I think it's still too early. It's like the early days of the internet. What's good and bad internet sites? It doesn't happen. So
Yeah.
I would say we should use the common sense here. Yeah. And if a hacker comes to your product and try to use it, I wouldn't allow it.
Yeah.
what if he's a good hacker?
They are not good hackers from our point of view. Like I see these stories where hacker steal the whole money, like 200 mil, and then start to discuss. I want 20 percentages. I want 30 percentages. Yeah, and this is not white hacking. Like in the normal industry, I was security expert at Porsche AG. By having just a simple attack of like looking at what vulnerabilities are in the APIs or in the front end, a person would get huge into trouble. Police would react directly because they are like already they used to do it already a long time. In times of crypto, we go to police. In police, it takes half a year at least that they more or less understand what's happening, what happened. And actually, there's no no special force taking someone in Dubai. We found one hacker in Dubai and identified them through service providers. And police is not doing anything because they need time to understand and to do something. Yeah, it's little bit difficult right now.
Yeah. So definitely insightful takes, and I definitely think that transparency should be a principle when we design our product, and we also should have a proactive approach to prevent risks. And the next one, since we're in the multi-chain day, I cannot avoid asking this question. So the multi-chain ecosystem bring a lot of power, but it's also bring lots of complexity. How does your project abstract that complexity and make cross-chain action feel more simple for your users?
Sure, maybe I'll start. At Second Swap today, we actually announced the launch of our support for Avalanche. It's one of the first first chain outside Ethereum that we launched to, and it was a very methodical decision. Choosing a chain that focuses a lot on interoperability was one of the key things because the earlier panel mentioned on the infrastructure side, so many different chains out there. Why do people deal with it? It's just too complex for the average user today. The best thing to do would be throw out all the wallets, throw out all the chains, and just deal with the best user experience and to aggregate that liquidity. And that's what liquidity extraction is all about. So when you choose that chain that you want to deploy on natively, really think about the interoperability of it. Avalanche has about 6 billion of TVL that's cross-chain. Interoperable. So you really have to think about how do I get to the next liquid asset. So thinking from the early point instead of at the end is super important for us.
So what we did at 1inch is we built something by ourselves. I had my personal pain. I had some payouts on Gnosis chain, some yield farmings from other chains, and I had always the pain to like move these assets to Ethereum because this most safest blockchain, and it's acceptable by my bank as well. So we just built it by ourselves, and we looked around. There was nothing would guarantee full safety for myself and also for our users. We just built an intent-based cross-chain swap protocol what just used the HTLS approach, what was introduced in Bitcoin already 2013. Sometimes it takes a little bit time, but it works very well, and you get also good execution by because there are market makers who compete between each other. So I think sometimes you need to do it by yourself. Build it by yourself because no one did it before.
I think reducing complexity for users is exactly at the core of what we do, because in 2020, Rubik was the first to introduce multi-hop swaps. That means that we actually combine the bridge and the DEX in one transactions. That's what we started with. And in these 5 years, we've kind of expanded to more than 100 chains, and there are more than 30 non-EVM chains, including Bitcoin, Solana, Ton, you name it. And we also now really focus heavily on chain abstraction. Right now, we have the all chains feature, so people don't need to hop from one chain to another. They go to all chains and they see their balances across all the chains, and they see all of their tokens in one place. And this is just the beginning. We'll be adding the social logins, gasless transactions, and everything that's making people's life easier. Because right now, Web3 is far from easy to navigate.
I like this. I think Uniswap also started to do this with the unifying the blockchains. We did it already with the cross-chain release. We introduced also the same thing. We started with all networks. Nowadays, we don't show even network. You just see all the assets, and then you can understand on what network it is, and then you can do cross.
Yeah, it's something like that. So it's mainly the tokens and the very small logo on which chain that is.
Feels good that we walk in the right direction.
At the yield option in Beefy, we were one of the first, if not the first, yield optimizer which went multi-chain. What we do is basically that's why we call ourselves also a yield aggregator, because we present all the options for the users in the same platform, independent of the chain. We have deployed on 30 plus all EVM chains, obviously all major EVMs, and we just present to the users all the options that they have with the tokens that they have in their wallet, independent of the chain. So basically, all the users can filter for APY or asset or whatever they want, and it's gonna show all of the chains that we have available to offer good DeFi opportunities for all.
Cool. So we talk about the challenges of multi-chain and some aggregation features. But let's think about DeFi user experience from macro perspective. What do you think is the most important effort we as an industry should focus on to make DeFi better for mainstream adoption, even for institutional? What is the biggest problem we should solve?
Yeah, maybe I'll start. Guess I'm the closest to you on the left. But more so the fact that I think it's more about opportunity. I heard a few of my fellow panelists talk about chain abstraction and aggregating into a single dashboard. So I think I hear a lot of businesses doing something very similar, where you're aggregating all the yields, the points, the transactions, but then all of a sudden it becomes everyone has something similar. And then so where's the edge? Where's the opportunity? When I come here, I was like, I want to get a little bit of the edge. As SecondSwap, what we do is we offer users to get access to locked tokens at a discount, and that is a major edge, because if you're a value investor, you say, well, I can get liquid tokens everywhere. The slippage might be different on 1 inch versus a Uniswap, slightly, but not material enough. Unless I'm doing $12 million transactions, high number of transactions, on that point, I would go to a SEX. But if you're looking for real yield opportunities, you have to look at the market and say, from a macro perspective, where is my edge? If I can't beat the algos, if I'm a retail user, I'm SOL. And in order for me to compete, what I have to do is I have to use a few different characteristics. Number one, aggregate buying activity. That's always been a sort of market force, where instead of you buying $10, you band together with 1,000 people and you buy $10,000. All of a sudden, you qualify for an OTC transaction on a desk where you get better yields and better pricing. So all of these market dynamics is something that we do at SecondSwap to enable users to come into the marketplace and then compete with VCs, compete with institutional firms.
Yeah, from my side, I would say we need good user experience, seamless user experience, what feels similar to traditional world, banks, centralized exchanges. Banks maybe less, because my bank is very slow in settlement. They offer also crypto, but I pay like 2% of fee, and Yeah. Yeah, we addressed this with DeFi in terms of like, okay, you get best execution. Yeah. So, okay, some of the players charge interface fees like Uniswap, but there are other ways, other services who would offer direct access to the liquidity, to all liquidity, cross-chain liquidity, and it feels already seamless, I would say. So user just create an order, and it's intent-based approach. What a lot of products are already doing. I don't know if Beefy is going also this way to like optimize to improve the user experience, so the user don't do the transaction by themselves or anything. They just send an intent. Maybe it's just sign a signature. I want to do this, and someone execute it for you. Yeah, this is kind of new narrative what came up already 2022. Yeah, so yeah, we need to continue to do that, and we need more competition. So like nowadays, I would say it's feels already good. We have Jupiter, who is performing like beasts. Really, they deliver every week something new. We have Uniswap pushing also forward. Huge great team building new kind of approaches in UX UI. And also new protocols across relays project try to improve the experience in terms of like cross-chain transfers of assets and also swaps. So and when you are in such an environment, then it's really great to build new things. Then you are motivated to build and become better in terms of like us. Yeah. So we my people get pushed on only if someone else try to do it better than us.
Yeah, we also do aggregate intents, but I wanted to look at the question much broader. I spent almost 7 years at Visa, and I like looking at crypto versus digital fiat and thinking about that, because I was the one who was building mass adoption of digital money versus cash. And so I think that where we fail right now a lot is two things. First of all is use cases, because right now, if you compare crypto to digital money, crypto's use case is mainly like inflation hedge and investment. That's one. And secondly is P2P transaction, especially cross-border. It's much faster and much cheaper than bank transfers. Yeah, but that's very little because when the real habit is going to form is the everyday usage. Like when you pay for groceries, when you pay for transport and things like that. But crypto is not able to deliver that, not to speak about regulation, tax, and all these governmental issues, but even the infrastructure is so far away from this. Because right now, you can only pay with crypto. First, you need to log into your wallet, scan QR code, then make the transfer. For online, the experience is okay, but when it comes to offline merchants, this is so far away from come and beep and go. It's longer, it's cumbersome, and until we solve these kind of basic technological issues, we are not going to see a real mass adoption of crypto, to be honest. That's my take.
I think Apple need to implement crypto payments and then
if
get adopted.
If that would happen, then we would be kings.
I was at Money 2020 last week in Bangkok, and the hottest product out there was a multi-currency card for crypto. I was like, wait a minute, this is the hottest product right now? Another card. That's actually exactly what you're saying.
I think for us at Beefy, what we focus more is in simplicity. Because, for example, for us to talk about liquidity provision, for example, is an easy topic, and we can go to any DEX and build a liquidity pool token and just add liquidity to a pool, and okay, that's fine. But that's for us, which are here. But if you talk that to a normal user, more retail user, it's not a viable thing to do. Like go and make sure it's 50-50 and all that things to provide liquidity for something as simple as providing liquidity. So, for example, we built a solution called the SAP, which we have a long-standing partnership with 1inch as an aggregator, and people, for example, can just deposit whatever LP we have in our yield section to be able to earn APY. They can just deposit it with any token they have on their wallet and just SAP it, and it through 1 inch, it will make the LP necessary to deposit into that yield opportunity. So things as simple as that make the normal, more retail user be able to use DeFi opportunities as if you were a more experienced user.
Yeah, I like that. I think in general, it simplifies the whole user experience is important. And the idea of Apple adopting crypto payment, yeah, I think with credit card that support crypto, we can solve it, right? Because then you can just add the card to the mobile phone. It's open lots of opportunity. And yeah, let's continue to speak about DeFi user experience. Maybe something more specific you learn during this week, or kind of new idea, or let's call it hot take about DeFi user experience. Something you'd like to share with the audience. This time, let's start with Biffy. Maybe let's change the order.
Hi. So yeah, my hot take will be basically the same as I just said. Just like I think we have a lot of opportunities. Like opportunities arises every day, and protocols arises every day. Chains, like every possible thing you can think of. But I think we need to focus more on simplicity and just try to make something better for the user, and not maybe just trying to be the same as TradFi, because at the end, like we all ended up here because we didn't want to be like that. So I'm more against going like more into that path, into just make our own and just things simpler for everyone.
I want to speak about new chains. This morning there was Kion from Monad on this stage, and actually they already have 250 million users on their testnet, which is only 2 months old. And I think that's amazing. And I wanted to mention that Rubik not only aggregates chains, but also testnets. And we've added Monad testnets from day one. And we already have processed more than 3 million transactions for them, for more than 270 thousand users, and these are amazing numbers. So it kind of we like working with testnets because we are able to communicate with the ecosystem from the very early days. You can say that this is an integration not even from day one, from day zero, because it's even before the main net, and I think it's pretty hot.
I came to interesting thought on the last panel. So if you think about internet adoption, yeah, how it started, how it was, people were telling, who needs internet? Yeah. So, and I see us as the next kind of evolution step for the financial industry, and we are like internet. Yeah. So if banks don't want to use internet, they should. It's okay. You know, they will stay behind the all innovation. So means we should not adopt on the old infrastructure. Also, even digital money, right? Visa, and we don't need to adapt. They need to adapt on us. Yeah. So we are the internet, and if they want to use telegraph, they can use the telegraph. Yeah. But who will use us? They will improve. They will grow, and they will stay after 5 and 10 years here and continue make money and business.
Yeah, maybe I'll end off my hot take with maybe another business that I learned about last week was familiarity. Tokenized finance, as an example. Ondo is launching this global markets protocol where they're going to essentially just tokenize stock. I was like, wow, that's not really novel. You know, there's nothing new. It was like nothing, no chain, no innovation. No, you're just going to take like Apple stock, Tesla stock, and then you're going to make it permissionless by using DeFi as a distribution method. I was like, well, that's actually quite simple because everyone in the world, especially in Asia, they want to trade US stocks. If you talk to guys in Vietnam, your developers, or guys in Malaysia, they're like, yeah, well, I'd love to get the chance to trade, but there's so much friction because I can't get access to the number one US equities market in the world. If I just had that, that would be awesome. So, you can't open an account with Robinhood? No, I can't do any of that because of all the regulations. So a simple product which is familiar to the world, where it's been around for 10s, 50s, 100 years, is actually the product that people want. And now we bring that on chain, and we settle and we figure out the UI, UX, the regulations, and KYC, and all that kind of stuff that I'm sure really, really brilliant minds can do. We can actually unlock mainstream adoption.
Nice. Now, before we wrap up this panel, each of you has 60 seconds to give us a quick teaser about your project, something like an upgrade, maybe a new integration, or a new feature you're most excited about that recently launched or about to be launched.
Or maybe I'll start real quick. I know we're running out of time. We're launching a universal adapter, which allows us to basically use our smart contracts to adapt and connect to all the locked tokens in the universe. And that goes across multi-chain. It uses a special mechanism called trading of virtual shares, allows you to basically redeem and allow smart contracts to keep the provenance of where they are to claim and for vesting functions while trading on our marketplace. So I'm really excited about that. Pretty technical, but it's something that is going to be really interesting for the market.
1 inch is on Solana.
That was very short. We are very excited about Rubik's tools for builders, API and SDK, and that's actually the main reason we are here in this conference. So our API and SDK allow other dApps, be it wallets, DEXs, or aggregators, or some gaming project, TG bots, AI bots, whoever. We can very easily set up for them the swapping architecture across 100 chains and 360 providers. These providers actually allow us to give the best rates, and we have regular monitoring of the rates in the market. We are able to provide from 50 to 70% better rates against either DEX or bridge, it depends, or wallet. Also, builders are free to set up their own list of providers if there is a competitive category or something, or set up their own number of chains. So it's something like a Lego. We also give a very flexible fee sharing models. So if you are building in Web3 and if you want to set up a swapping architecture, Rubik is your go-to place.
It's not new technology, but our latest development. We launch our own LST on Sonic. We're going heavy on that, and just keep developing new vaults, new type of vaults that we have been in the making that is coming out soon. So I don't. I can say more about that, but it's going to be pretty interesting. And new CLMs, which is our concentrated liquidity manager. And yeah, just keep making things simple.
Amazing. So thank you for our speakers. Thank you for the listener. Keep up building. I'm sure together we're going to make DeFi users 10x up more until we meet here again next year. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.